They betrayed you and now they can't even face you. They can't even face you after the betrayal because looking at you means looking at the truth they have been trying to avoid. They thought they could betray you and still act normal. They thought they could hide things, break your trust, and still walk away like nothing happened. They thought if they avoided the conversation long enough, the guilt would disappear on its own. But betrayal does not disappear just because someone refuses to face it. And they know what they did. They know how deeply they hurt you. They know they know the trust they damage they know the trust they damaged was not small. They know you gave them loyalty, patience, honesty, and chances they did not deserve. They know you were not asking for too much when you wanted respect, but instead of facing you, they avoided you. They avoided your eyes because your eyes remind them of the pain they caused. They avoided your voice because your voice carries the truth they tried to silence. They avoided your presence because being near you makes their excuse sound weaker. They avoided the conversation because they know they cannot defend what they did without lying again. That is why they act distant, not because they are strong, not because they are unbothered, not because they moved on peacefully. They act distant because guilt makes them uncomfortable. Before the betrayal, they enjoyed your softness. They enjoyed knowing you would listen. They enjoyed knowing you would try to understand them. They enjoyed the safety of your loyalty while secretly doing things that would break your heart. And that is what makes the betrayal so painful. It was not only what they did, it was the fact that they knew how much you trusted them while they were doing it. They knew you believed in them. They knew you defended them. They knew you were giving them the benefit of the doubt while they were giving you reasons to stop. And when the trust came out, something inside you changed. You stopped seeing them the same way. You stopped hearing their words with the same trust. You stopped believing every explanation. You stopped ignoring the uncomfortable feeling in your chest. That change scared them because they could no longer hide behind the version of you that used to believe in them easily. They could no longer depend on your forgiveness to clean up their choices. They could no longer look at you pretend they could not no longer look at you and pretend the damage was not real. They could no longer act like betrayal was just a misunderstanding. And so they cannot face you. They may avoid your messages. They may avoid places where they know you would be. They may act busy, cold, or proud. They may pretend they are staying away because they do not care. But deep down, they know the truth is heavier than their pride. They cannot face you because they know you saw the real them. You saw the lie behind the smile. You saw the selfishness behind the excuses. You saw the lack of response behind the sweet words. You saw the part of them they never wanted you to fully understand. And now your silence makes them nervous. Your silence says you know enough. Your silence says the old trust is gone. Your silence says you are no longer waiting for them to explain what their actions already revealed. Your silence says you have stopped giving them the comfort of pretending nothing happened. That is where their control stopped working. Before they could confess you the they before they could confuse you with words. They could make you doubt what you saw. They could make you feel guilty for asking questions. They could turn the situation around until you were the one apologizing. But after betrayal, clarity enters the room. You begin understanding that some apologies are only meant to reduce guilt, not repair, not are only meant to reduce guilt, not repair damage. You begin to understand that some people avoid you because they are not ready to be accountable. You begin to understand that if someone cannot face the person they hurt, they are still protecting their pride more than they are respecting your pain. That realization gives you strength. You stop chasing the conversation. You stop begging them to admit what you already know. You stop trying to make them feel sorry. You stop waiting for closure from someone who is still hiding from responsibility. And that is why they are uncomfortable now. They expect you to break down. They expect you to to run after them for answers. They expected you to give them another chance to explain away the betrayal. They expected you to stay emotionally open even after they proved they were careless with your heart. But you changed. You became quieter, you became stronger, you became more careful with your access. You became someone who no longer confuses love with tolerating disrespect. And now they are facing the fallout. They have to live with the memory of how they treated someone who trusted them. They have to remember that you were loyal before you were hurt. They have to remember that you did not become distant for no reason. They have to remember that their betrayal changed the way you looked at them forever. And that is what they cannot handle. They can face strangers. They can face strangers. They can face people who only know their side. Who only know their side. They can face the crowd they performed for. But they cannot face you because you know the truth behind the image. You know the truth behind the image, and they may still act proud. They may still pretend they are fine. They may still tell people the story in a way that protects them. But avoiding you is already a confession. Because people who feel clean do not hide from honest conversation. People who are truly at peace do not run from the person they damaged. People who did nothing wrong to who did nothing wrong do not fear the eyes of the one they betrayed. You did not need to force them to face you. Their avoidance is speaking. Their silence is speaking. Their distance is speaking. Their discomfort is saying what their mouth refuses to admit. They betrayed you. And now they cannot face you because you are no longer the person they can deceive with sweet words and empty excuses. Your presence reminds them of what they broke. Your peace reminds them of what they lost. Your silence reminds them of the truth. Your silence reminds them that the truth does not need to chase anyone. They can avoid you, but they cannot avoid what they did. They can hide from your eyes, but they cannot hide from they cannot hide from their own conscience forever. They can run from the conversation, but they cannot erase the betrayer that changed everything. They can't even face you after the betrayal, because facing you would mean admitting that they lost someone genuine by becoming the kind of person you can no longer trust. Thanks for watching.